The international break is, well, it's supposed to be a quiet time, a chance for clubs to reset.
A moment of calm, yeah.
But for Manchester United, it's done the opposite. It's really just thrown two huge and very different personnel problems into sharp relief for Ruben Amorim.
That's it exactly. They're facing two completely different kinds of strategic challenge. You've got the immediate crisis, the fire they have to put out in attack after the Spurs match.
And on the other hand,
A really surprising, almost long-term gamble they're taking with a key defender's recovery.
so that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to use the sources to break down the options Amorim has to replace Benjamin Sesko, and at the same time we'll analyze this very unusual calculated risk they're taking with Lisandro Martinez.
Let's start with the chaos then, the Sesko injury. It happened during that tough 1-1 draw with Tottenham.
Right, and Sesko had only just come on from Cunha, 58th minute, I think.
That's right. And the moment itself was just, it was so telling. The sources noted he was taking a bit too long on the ball, hesitating.
He gets that pass from Mason Mount, takes that extra split second.
And Mickey van de Ven is just on him. A clean tackle, but Sesko just crumples and stays down. Motionless.
And the worst part, from a tactical point of view.
Oh, the timing was a disaster. United had already used all 5 of their substitutions.
So when he's finally stretchered off, Amorim is stuck. They're down to 10 men for the rest of the match.
So yeah, the immediate worry is the injury itself, but the real strategic headache, the bigger problem, is how on earth Amorim is going to structure his attack for the next few games.
Okay, so let's get into that. Let's put these 3 replacement options under the microscope, because they represent 3 very, very different paths.
They really do. And these options, they sort of perfectly capture the pressures of top-level management, don't they? You're balancing pure tactics against player personalities, and in this case, a really deep club tradition.
So option 1. The sources seem to think this is the most likely. It's the strikerless system.
Yeah, the fallback plan. We saw it against Spurs, saw it against Liverpool. They just flood the front line without a real, a designated number 9.
And if they go that route, the key man is Cunha, the former Wolves player.
Yeah.
Right, in that false 9 role.
He is. And look, Cunha brings a ton of energy. He worked his socks off against Spurs. But, and this is the big but,
He's not a finisher.
the sources were pretty clear, weren't they? They said he lacked the final touch, which is the whole reason Sesko was brought on in the first place.
So that's the central problem. If Cunha is your main guy up top, it's not a simple swap. Amorim has to rejig the entire attack.
It's a tactical domino effect. Against Spurs, the changes were huge. NMUI had to drop back to wingback, Amard was pushed higher, and then Brian Bumo.
Who's normally on the right,
Exactly, he gets shifted all the way over to the left flank.
which creates a whole new problem. You end up with the more defensive Mazraoui on the right.
And the attack just felt, what was the word they used? Less potent.
It makes sense, doesn't it? You lose that natural width and speed that Bumo gives you on the right. So Cunha's job becomes less about scoring goals and more about, I guess, linking everything together. It's a completely different kind of attack.
And a less threatening one, arguably.
Okay, so let's look at option 2. This one feels like the biggest gamble, at least in terms of man management, the Joshua ZIRKZEE recall.
Oh, this is the spicy one. ZIRKZEE is, to put it mildly, languishing. The reports say he's actively pushing to get out in January. He feels completely sidelined.
But Sesko's injury suddenly gives him all the leverage, doesn't it? It's an unexpected chance to get the minutes he's been demanding.
It is. And we need to remember, this isn't some kid from the reserves. Last season, ZIRKZEE had a really strong run. He developed into a proper striker, and he was controversially being picked ahead of Rasmus Højlund at times.
But the quality's there.
The quality's absolutely there. The whole thing just boils down to one question. Is Amorim actually prepared to put his faith in a player who basically has 1 foot out the door?
But wouldn't that be, isn't that incredibly risky? Bringing back a player who's made it so clear he wants to leave. That could poison the dressing room.
You're right. It's a massive management challenge, a huge one. Amorim has to weigh that potential disruption against the fact that ZIRKZEE, when he's on it, is a proven goal scorer at this level.
So if he can get him motivated.
If he can light a fire under him for just a few weeks, he solves his striker problem without spending a penny. But if ZIRKZEE comes in with a bad attitude or just doesn't perform, Amorim looks weak. It's a pure motivational gamble. High risk, high reward.
Which leads us to the third option. And this one isn't about tactics or difficult personalities. It's about the club's identity, the OBI opportunity, the academy option.
And this taps right into Amorim's public statements, doesn't it? He's been very vocal about wanting to protect that incredible 88-year tradition.
Of having at least one academy graduate in every single matchday squad.
Yeah, and before the Spurs game, he even mentioned Jack Fletcher by name, saying he was ready to step up and help keep that record going.
It's amazing they've kept it going so long. The sources said they were actually on the brink of breaking it on Saturday, with Kobe Mayu out injured.
They were. Which brings us to CHIDO Obi. He's the natural choice from the academy. He's only 17, but he's not a complete unknown.
He got a run out last season, didn't he? When the other strikers were struggling?
He did. He was called up because of lackluster striker performance, which shows they already trust him to a degree. He's with the academy right now, but he's the obvious one to call.
So this is really a test of that commitment to tradition.
It's one thing to have an academy player on the bench to keep a record alive. It's another thing entirely to throw a 17-year-old in to lead the line when you're in a bit of a crisis. That's a different level of faith and a different level of risk.
Okay, so we go from this frantic, short-term puzzle up front, strikerless flexibility versus player redemption versus club tradition, to this completely different long-term strategic play at the back. I'm talking about Lisandro Martinez.
This is such a fascinating decision. It's a real peek behind the curtain at how top clubs manage their biggest assets. So Martinez, as we know, has been out since that awful knee injury in February.
A long time.
A very long time. He's in the final stages of recovery. He's back in some club training. But, and these are important buts, he is not match fit. And he was not officially called up to the Argentina squad.
And yet, despite all of that, United have just let him go. They've released him to go and train with Lionel Scaloni's Argentina side during the break. Not to play, but to continue his physio and training over there.
Hang on, that sounds wild. Are you saying they're outsourcing his recovery?
Essentially, yeah.
But clubs are so protecting of their medical procedures, they're incredibly strict. And I remember Amorim himself saying just a few weeks ago that things would progress slowly with Martinez. To just hand over a key player in the most sensitive phase of his rehab, that's a huge risk.
It is unusual, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But the source, citing the Daily Mail, is very specific. They call it a calculated, measured decision.
Okay, so there's the key. Calculated. What's the calculation here? Why give up that control?
The belief inside United is that training at that elite level with the Argentina squad is actually better for him right now.
Better than being at Carrington.
More useful is the term they used. The idea is that the intensity, the competitive spirit of being with his national teammates, that it will push him over the finish line faster and more effectively than just doing controlled drills at the club's training ground.
So it's a psychological thing as much as a physical one.
I think so, yeah. Get him back in that high-performance environment. And to be clear, the Argentinian Federation has already put out a statement. He's not available for their friendly against Angola. This is purely for training, high-level recovery work.
It's a fascinating trade-off, isn't it? You're betting that the intensity of an international camp will accelerate his sharpness, and you're willing to risk the lack of direct medical supervision to get it.
And the timeline they're hoping for is pretty aggressive. The plan, if it works, is for Martinez to return ready to be eased back into action almost immediately after the break.
So what are the first couple of games back?
They host Everton, and then they're away at Crystal Palace. The goal, according to the sources, is for him to get even the briefest of cameos in those games.
A soft launch.
Exactly. A soft launch before they really ramp things up for that crazy, hectic, festive period.
This whole decision is about getting him fully match sharp for the busiest part of the season, even if it means taking this unconventional route right now.
So when you step back, you've got these two parallel stories, two very different kinds of pressure on the manager.
So for you, the listener, what does this all boil down to? We've got the immediate problem, the forward line. Does Amorim go with tactics? Does he try to manage a disgruntled player back into the fold? Or does he lean on that 88-year club tradition? And then you have the complete opposite, a long-term calculated risk. They are choosing to send a multi-million-pound asset away during a critical recovery phase, betting that the high-level environment in Argentina is worth more than the safety and control of their own world-class medical team at Carrington. It's an amazing contrast in problem-solving.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. We've seen the three paths for Sesko's replacement, and we've seen this incredible gamble on Martinez's fitness. When you consider the symbolic weight of that 88-year academy tradition, and you weigh that against the very real medical and procedural risk of sending an injured player to train with another team, which of these two decisions, Amorim's choice up front, or the club's medical decision on Martinez, do you think is the biggest gamble for the team's future?